this stuff just keeps happening. Hey guys, what's up? Whoo boy, where do I begin with this one? Okay, you guys are owed an update on things because boy do I have a lot to update you guys on as far as what's going on with this channel and what the future holds for this channel. You may have noticed that I haven't made videos in a while. I mean, not a super long while, but long enough to be noticeable, right? Like I made that last video I had, which, you know, had the nice open expanse, and then I put out nothing. And I said there was stuff coming down the line and nothing happened. So what the hell happened? Well, a whole lot has happened. Quite a whole lot has happened. And you probably noticed that there are changes. Some of you guys may be going, yeah, well, there already were changes. That last video, you know, the whole scenery was really nice looking. That was a major change. Well, things have changed from that too. And yeah, it's amazing what can happen in the span of a few weeks. Hell, it's amazing what can happen in just 2 days. In fact, what I'm dealing with right now is the aftermath of what crazy implosion happened in just 2 freaking days. You know, I've tried my best in all the years I've been running this channel to not let my personal life really be aired on it. Like, I try my best not to put too much of my personal life on display for you guys. Mostly because of my own, you know, personality. I don't like airing, you know, I don't like putting too much of my personal self on camera. Partially because I feel it's not really people's business, and another reason because, quite frankly, most people don't care. You know, people aren't here to, you know, hear you whine and complain about what's going on in your life. They're not here to feel sorry for you. People go on YouTube because they want to see something interesting, or they want to see something entertaining, or they want to see a mix of both, right? Or informative, or whatever. So I do my best not to put too much of my personal life on there because that's not what people are here for. Granted, a lot of you guys who have been watching over the years know that I've gotten hit with a few things here and there, but most of the time I'm able to get over it, you know, get through it. And as far as something happened recently. I'm pretty sure you guys have guessed by now. Let me just say, for anybody who's worried, don't worry. I'm all right. I'm okay. My son's okay. And actually what happened this time really wasn't all that drastic, but it was drastic enough that it affected some things and caused some changes, and some of those changes affect this channel. I am only going to be bringing up the things that are going to be affecting this channel. For anybody who really is concerned, don't be. I'm fine. In fact, in some ways, I'm actually in a better situation than I was before, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's talk about the stuff that affects this channel. Not to go into too much detail, but for the past few years, about 3 years, I and a group of other people were involved in a project. I'll just call it a project. Basically, we had pooled our resources together to basically live in one big batch of land, and we were going to be building on that. I'm sure you guys have noticed that the economy right now isn't great, to say the least. And we figured that one of the ways that we can, unless there's some major drastic changes in how things go around the world, we don't see an end in sight in how things are going economically. And we quickly realized that the smart thing to do is to pool our resources and come together to kind of deal with the economic hardships that we saw coming down the line. And we saw, like, what was going on right now, we kind of already saw happening several years back. I've been involved in this project for about a little over 3 years now. And we had just come together, pooled our resources, got one big batch of land, big house, and we're all living in there. And we were, you know, basically by pooling our finances together, our resources together, we were able to meet each other's bills, meet each other's needs, you know, as far as like food, clothing, taking care of family, stuff like that. It was a really cool project. And it's something, I mean, most other people who knew what I was going through was like, this is really cool. You know, the way we had everything working, like so many expenses were taken care of and so many like normal things that you have to deal with as far as like, you know, bills, power bills, food, you know, that type of stuff. They become a lot easier to deal with when you have a bunch of people come together. Like, you'd think that the expenses would go up the more people you bring in, but it actually starts to go down after you reach a certain threshold. And we were getting to the point where we were able to move on to an even bigger batch of land. And this is what we were going to, like, you know, build on it. Everybody got their own houses, things like that. I don't really want to go too much into detail on it. But as far as this channel is concerned, that next phase that we went on to was the stuff that was going to make me go, oh, finally, I can get these sword reviews done, because now I got a bigger amount of land to do this stuff on. I was already like getting my I was making some new cutting stands because my old one was busted, so I was like trying to build a new one. I was finally going to get these sword reviews out the way. Plus I had more people to get involved instead of bigger expanse of land to work on. I could finally start doing some of the other stuff I wanted to do, like, you know, start showing a few applications here, like show a little bit of sparring stuff, some of my ideas in martial arts, so some cool sword stuff. You know, it was going to be great. And then it all fell apart. You know that saying, one bad apple can spoil the whole bunch? Well, makes me think that whoever came up with that phrase thought of one person in mind. Okay, I'm speaking in hyperbole here, but one person who was recently brought into the project effed the whole thing up. Like, they just, within a span of a few months after them being brought in, and several of us were like, I'm not so sure if this person's the right fit for. They were brought in because it was stuff that they were going to move things a lot faster in terms of our plans, and it didn't go well. And thanks to them, like, I don't want to get too much into it. I don't want to start slandering people, all that, even though I'm not mentioning names. But let me just say that I never thought that I would bump into anyone so petty and so straight up, considering some of the stuff that they were doing and are still doing, straight up evil. Like, I'll just end it there. But they caused the whole thing to fall apart, you know, and it caused some major losses for just about everybody involved. Some people still dealing with the fallout. Some people had some major setbacks because of all of this coming apart. Me, not so much. I mean, I did get negatively affected, but the minute the implosion happened, I quickly moved to, you know, remove myself from the situation, land back on my feet, as it were, and I'm fine. I'm doing okay. You know, thankfully, you know, I was able to, like, you know, secure, you know, a place for me and my son and all that type of stuff, and we're here now. Decent 2-bedroom apartment, but this set me back because here I was moving toward finally having my own property to do what I wanted to do with, and now I'm renting again, and it's just like, no. And I invested a whole lot of money into all this, which, yeah, that's up in the air whether I'm going to be getting that back. So it's nuts. But here's where we get to this channel. Just about everything that I was planning is now in free fall because I got no place to do the cutting videos now. I got no place to do the reviews now. I'm in an apartment complex with no yard. Okay, I got no yard, no little space for me to do it on. Like, the street's right there. Like, you know, the parking lot is not exactly a place where I can swing around a bunch of long, sharp objects without bringing undue attention. And at the moment, I don't know anybody who has a place which I can use. And the one or two people I do know either live way too far away for me to do that with, or they just are like, I don't feel comfortable with you bringing weapons here. So, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to be able to do as far as sword reviews go. Here I was planning a whole summer of sword reviews, and gone. Just gone. So now I have to wonder if anybody's going to be willing to see any reviews on the swords that I've been wanting to do for God knows how long without any cutting footage, except for the little bit that I did, you know, that's, in my opinion, a bit outdated and not as good. Like, I wanted to re-record certain cutting things because I didn't like the footage I had for some of the weapons I have, and other stuff didn't even get any footage at all. And now it's like, how am I going to do reviews with no cutting footage? So that's probably on hold. And all the, sparring stuff and two-person stuff that I wanted to show off, gone. Because, again, I got no place to do it at. So now it's like, what the hell am I going to do with the channel? Here's the thing. You guys do like it when I talk about martial arts, in a philosophical sense, or, when I kind of have like, dialogues and discussions about, the more mental aspects of it or the theoretical aspects of it, the history, things like that. That I can still keep doing. It's just me in front of a camera talking about these things, talking about certain concepts and such. So that's not going to be on hold. In fact, now I'm going to have to kind of pick that up to make up for the stuff that I wanted to do that at the moment I can't. This also is putting a boot on my ass in the sense of putting up the other videos that I wanted to put up that I was a bit hesitant on. But I kept hinting that I wanted to talk a little bit more about the stuff I used to talk about on this channel, because contrary to what a lot of people may think, this is not a martial arts and swords only channel. This is really a channel where I just talk about whatever the hell I feel like talking about. It just so happens in the last few years, I really wanted to talk more about martial arts and sword stuff because it was sort of a way for me to kind of get away from the things that I normally think about, which tend to be downer topics. I mean, let's face it, you look outside, world ain't really doing well right now. Like, things aren't really good right now. But the stuff that's going on tends to be the stuff I think about all the time. And sometimes when I bring up these topics with people I know, after a while they start getting depressed. And I definitely don't want to get people depressed on this channel. So I'm like, let me just focus on the stuff that I, find more entertaining. And it's not only a way for me to kind of not think about this stuff, it's hopefully a way for you guys not to have to think about this stuff. Right? But lately, actually for quite some time now, I'm going to say for the past few years now, I've been feeling more and more like you need to start talking about some of the stuff that's going on out there. Especially since the way certain issues are being portrayed, it's being done in a way that just kind of breeds more animosity than actual discussion and true thinking about what it is that we're talking about. And I'm getting a little tired of seeing things presented in a way that's meant to antagonize. I may have my own particular views that I know rub some people the wrong way, but I am not, especially these days, I don't necessarily want to bring stuff up just to aggravate people. I want to bring it up more because it's like, I feel that there's certain things that the average person who's struggling to just make it day to day in this world really needs to pay attention to. Like, at this point in time, we really shouldn't be at each other's throats. This is the wrong time for it. This is one of those times where people need to realize how much in common we have in terms of struggling. And I want to start talking about that sort of stuff in the hopes that it reminds people that we're not really as separated from each other as we may think in terms of, ideologies and things like that. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So I do want to start bringing that up, but I've been thinking of really, really long and hard on how I wanted to present it. I don't want to bring it up in a way that's going to cause people to just get irate, because I get all types of people watching the stuff that's on my channel. And while I am somebody who, I will admit, can be pretty forthright with the way I look at things, and sometimes I really don't give a damn how people take it, in this case, some of the things I want to bring up, let's put it this way. I want people to get mad at me for the right reasons, if they are going to get mad. Like, if they're going to get mad at something I'm saying, I'd rather they get mad because they truly feel offended. Like they know exactly what I'm talking about, and they're just like, no, I don't, Or rather, I don't even want them to get mad at me, just more like I disagree, and they disagreed after knowing exactly what it is that I'm bringing up. So that's coming on down the line, but I've been thinking very long and hard on how to present this sort of stuff in a way that isn't just going to be clickbait soundbite BS. Okay, so this stuff was actually, I was planning on bringing it up anyway. Even if the implosion hadn't happened, I still would have brought this stuff up. I've been thinking about this for a very long time. It's just that now I'm probably going to be doing a bit more of it than I was originally planning. That being said, it's not going to, for those of you who are like, I came here for the martial arts stuff, I came here for the sword stuff, don't worry, that's still going to be here. It's just the review stuff, I got to figure out what the hell to do with that. If you guys don't mind me doing reviews where I just don't really have much in the way of cutting footage, then yeah, I can go full steam ahead. But if you're like, I'd rather not, then I got to figure out something, you know. Or maybe instead of calling them reviews, maybe it could be like, I don't know, impressions? I got to figure out something, because some of these swords I have really need to be talked about. Some of these are really good pieces. And I think I've mentioned this before, but I really need to talk about some of the things I got. So that's what's going on with that, and that's more or less what to expect as far as this channel goes. I will say this, I am glad in a way that this is a hobbyist channel for me rather than, you know, like I'm not a major YouTuber, okay? I mean, my subscriber numbers prove it. Like I'm a really small channel. Granted, I am shocked that I have 18,000 plus subscribers. I never thought I would have that much. I know other people like, that's chump change, but that's the people who are trying to be YouTubers and make a living off of it and be internet famous, and that's not me. That's the sort of thing that kind of intimidates me, if I'm going to tell you the truth. I like it being small. I don't think I have the time or the temperament to have to deal with it getting really, really huge. So the way things are right now, where, you know, I put up my stuff and the people who are really, really, really interested are the ones who watch it and they appreciate it and they, you know, make comments back and stuff like that. I like that. It's cool. That being, and also, I was going to say that being said, but I was getting ahead of myself. Another cool thing about this just being a hobbyist channel is because of what had just happened. Like if this was a huge channel and the reason why it got big was because of sword reviews, and suddenly here I am going, I don't know if I could do sword reviews, that would really take a huge hack off the revenue now, wouldn't it? And that's not even counting the hacking that YouTube has already been doing to anybody who's been trying to make a living off of YouTube. You see what's going on. Like Skull every now and then brings up the type of crap that he has to deal with, you know, with his ads constantly being messed with and certain videos not being shown. And it gets worse and worse all the time. Certain other channels that I like watching, every now and then they bring up how rough it is, you know, how much you got to struggle through it. Hell, I've noticed these days people, if they need to make it big on YouTube, they can't do it by themselves anymore. They have to hire other people. Like certain videos I'm looking at now, it's obvious that they got a crew. It's not just one person or just two people doing it. The way it used to be back when the U in YouTube actually meant something. Now it's like you got to have like a freaking professional production in order to get anywhere. And it's like, I don't have time for that. I'm glad I do something else to put food on the table. And I can just shift gears if need be on this channel, because I do this for fun. Like, it's a hobby. And also because I happen to like, you know, some of the stuff that you guys put in the comments really helps to open my perspective on a lot of things, martial arts or otherwise. So what had happened is not freaking me out so much about, like, people ain't gonna like what's on my channel. If they don't like it, they can just walk away. I mean, it's not like I'm not making any money off of this. The last time I got something from AdSense, like, you know how much I got like $100 off of AdSense like 2 months ago. And then before that was like over a year and some change before I got my last batch. Okay, I don't make anything off of YouTube, and Patreon itself, I make an okay amount, you know, enough to every now and then put gas in the car. And by the way, those of you guys who are on Patreon, thank you so much for that support. I do like the fact that I'm able to every now and then put a little extra gas in the car. That means a lot. But having said all of that, I do have to admit, every now and then I'm like, damn, if I was making a little bit more on Patreon and YouTube, sheesh, I could just simply spend my way out of this. I would just like rent a place or something to do the sword reviews and all that. I mean, hell, if just half the freaking people who subbed did the $1 amount that I have on my freaking desperately needs to be updated Patreon page, sheesh, that would solve so many problems. Seriously, just half, not even half, a quarter of the subs, that would solve so many problems. But I'm not exactly going to go, can you please put on the Patreon? I mean, I do put it in the text description, but I don't advertise it because I really need to overhaul the way I have things up on Patreon anyway. And I've been meaning to do that for quite some time. I did try at one point to have a, like, gather everybody who's on Patreon and tell them, look, guys, we need to reorganize this. I need you guys' input on how to restructure the tier system because I don't like the way it is. I can't fulfill everything that I have on there, but I don't want to leave the people who've been paying $15 in a lurch. So I need to talk to you guys about what's acceptable and all that. And I tried to set up a meeting a while back, and it didn't come together. And then I got caught up in so many other things. It desperately needs to be renovated, and I need to pay more attention to it. So those of you who are still willing to put money in Patreon despite all that type of crap, you have no idea how much I appreciate you guys for putting up with that nonsense. So thank you. But yeah, I do need to overhaul it, and I need to talk to you guys about how to set that up. You know, like, what do you guys want as far as that goes? Because I don't want to do anything that's going to get anybody upset at, you know, whatever tier they're at. That's got to happen soon. But enough of that. I'm rambling now. So let's just kind of sum up this update, because it's now like 20 minutes, and sword reviews are kind of kneecapped right now. If I do them, they're going to have to be in a way that's not really going to put too much emphasis on cutting, because I got no place to do that. Definitely can't do it here. And I got no yard, no nothing to do with it. And until I can figure something out with that, I'm not going to be able to show much cutting footage. But there will still be martial arts themed topics on this channel. It's just going to be more about talking about concepts, theories, things like that. Once I figure out a way to do cutting stuff again, I'll definitely let you guys know. And I'm also going to have to kind of hurry up with, you know, putting out the stuff that I used to do on this channel, where I talked about social stuff and philosophical stuff. I need to start talking about that more, because I'm feeling the desire, and I'm also kind of feeling like we need a little bit more level-headed discourse on some of the things that are going on. Oh, and I didn't bring this up, but more video game stuff and nerd stuff needs to come up too. I mean, for God's sakes, if you guys are into video games, right now is a really freaking good time to be in well, it depends. If you're into fighting games, now's a really great time. If you're more into, like, quote-unquote AAA games, you're probably pissed off right now, and for good reason, and that's some of the stuff that I want to talk about. Like, just how effed up the industry has gotten, especially for somebody like me who's old enough to remember what games used to be like. I do want to bring up some of that stuff, though I also want to bring up some, not necessarily, ranty type stuff, so some more cool stuff that I found, some stuff that I'm interested in. And hell, I definitely wouldn't even mind trying to set up. I need to do more Q&As. I know I need to do more Q&As. I was actually planning on doing some this summer, but then the implosion happened, and that threw everything out of whack. But I would like to do, more live stuff, and I definitely would like to do more gaming live stuff as well, especially with some of the games that I've been playing recently that I know more and more people are into. Like, I know some of you guys must have picked up Street Fighter 6 by now, and I've been playing that and having fun with it. Warhammer 40k Dark Tide, I've been playing that, including with a couple of people who are, like, one or two people who are subbed to me. I've been playing with them. Let's see, Tekken 8's coming out soon. Can't wait for that. What other games? Payday 3's coming out soon. Can't wait for that, though I am rather upset at the fact that they just said that Payday 3 is going to be online only. What the... Jesus, this industry. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about in terms of video game stuff, role playing stuff, card game stuff. There was a recent card game that I kickstarted that came out a little while back that looks really cool that I wanted to talk about. There's all these other little things that I want to bring up that I think you guys might enjoy besides the martial arts stuff. So for those of you who are interested in that, yeah, there'll be more of that. But don't worry, I will not stop talking about the martial arts stuff. That's not going away. It's just sword reviews have kind of gotten a little damaged because of everything that happened. Anyway, I'm rambling now. It's like 23 freaking minutes. I'm sorry this is such a rambler review. I'm sorry I don't necessarily have fantastic news. But at least we're doing okay. For anybody who's worried, we're doing fine. In fact, in many ways, I'm actually in a better situation than I was before. Despite the fact that I'm renting again, I'm at least in a place where so many things that I wanted to go to are actually within walking distance. I'm not out in the sticks now. So there's a lot of conveniences around here. It's also a lot better for my job. Things are cool. Things are mostly cool. So you don't got to worry about that. Hope to have a decent video up soon. Hopefully even by the end of this month. We'll see. It all depends on my schedule and everything like that. Hope you guys are having a better summer. I hope my summer gets better too. Till then, catch you guys later.